Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Thanksgiving episode of the Weather News Happens or Not show. Now, we're actually filming this the day before Thanksgiving, but you're watching it right now on Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we've got our little Christmas tree. We said we were going to have a tree here.
We got a tree.
We got a tree now. But if you haven't already, go watch the last episode that we did here on the Weather News Times or Not show, where me, Dawson, and Caitlin talked about the new movie that just came out of The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Very interesting movie, to say the least.
It is.
I would say so. But yeah, we went and watched that, and we sat down and reviewed it. The three of us did. We talked about other movies such as Harry Potter, Star Wars, all of that jazz. But today is a very Thanksgiving-ish episode of the Weather News Times or Not show. We've got a segment that we're going to do later with Dawson talking about the history of Thanksgiving. So if you want to see that, stick around, because it'll be coming on later in the episode. So we were talking about what we wanted to talk about here on the show.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking, and then it was just kind of like, well, this whole thing is us talking, so might as well talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, whatever. I was mentioning to him off camera that the Marvels is doing really bad right now. Neither one of us have seen it.
I don't want to.
I don't want to see it.
I don't plan to.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either. I know I watched the guy review the movie, and it just sounds bad. I know there's like a musical number in there somewhere.
Marvel's gone downhill. I have no care for Marvel anymore.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I mean, it's just one of those things that, like, it's just everything that they've been doing just sucks.
I never thought that Captain Marvel would have a boyfriend. That was a very shocking thing.
I mean, the only really Marvel thing that I'm looking forward to is the Deadpool 3 movie.
Yeah, and we'll see if they butcher that any.
I hope not.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but it's Disney. It's a whole different thing. We were also talking about how Pedro Pascal is going to be playing Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four movie.
That is so stupid.
And everyone is going nuts about it.
It's such a money grab, is what it is. It's a title just for people to, because everybody loves Pedro Pascal for everything, and everybody freaking flocks him and all sorts of crap, and that's all that it is. Is just a money grab for him.
Yeah.
It's just a title, a name. It's kind of like how the whole conversation I was talking about the other day, and I think we talked about it on the show, but with the whole Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Is I love Star Wars, and I love the show Andor so much, but like all these other shows, they're good too, and I really like them. Like I love the Mandalorian show, but like with Ahsoka and like all this other stuff is like, it's the money grab thing. It's the name deal. It's just like dropping a name to get attention instead of actually having a storyline for it. This is like when the whole deal is just like, I mean, actors are actors to portray characters that they are able to portray. And like, I'm not saying that Pedro Pascal would do bad. He probably will do good for whoever watches it or whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, that's not
Does
Reed
he
Richards.
look like a Reed Richards?
He does. Well, he doesn't look like it, and it's like, I mean, not to like hate on anything, because Pedro Pascal is a good actor, but it's kind of like the whole ordeal with the whole. We're gonna drop it. I don't care anymore.
Oh, okay.
But it's like the whole ordeal with the whole racial thing.
Oh, yeah.
Swapping races. Reed Richards is a white guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had Miles Teller and Ian guy.
And even in the comics, he's a white dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying that he would do bad, but it's like...
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not saying that he'd do bad. It's just one of those things that's like, I mean... Why? You know?
I don't know.
I mean,
I also
Little
saw
Mermaid, Snow White, all that bull crap.
That's a whole conversation right there. That whole thing that Dawson's bringing up. I think I saw on now, since we're on the topic of Marvel and movies and junk. I know. I don't know if this is a confirmed thing or not, but I know that. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what his name is. Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things,
Yes.
who plays Eddie Munson. They're saying that he's going to play Johnny Storm. With a torch, a human torch.
Who's playing Sue?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. They keep
Because-
throwing stuff around.
Because them two are brother and sister.
I just have seen that Joseph Quinn is supposed to, well, not supposed to, but it's rumored that he's going to play the Human Torch.
Because Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are, of course, brother and sister.
Yeah.
So, if he plays Johnny Storm, I mean, okay, but, like, who's going to play his sister? Because they need to look related. And that was a big problem with the whole... What I guess, I mean, they said he was adopted or whatnot, but,
Yeah.
like...
It's rumored.
You got freaking... In the latest Fantastic Four movie that they did, I mean, Johnny Storm was black and Sue was white, and it's like...
Then they weren't related in that one.
It's like...
Yeah, Fan Four Stick. Fan Four Stick.
That's not how that works.
No.
But okay.
But, you know, who cares anymore? People, they don't care. Just like another thing of who cares.
Money grab.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
just another thing of who cares. We talked about how they're changing the Silver Surfer into a woman. Which we did look up. There is a female silver. Yeah, there's a female server.
There's a female server.
There's a female Silver Surfer named Juno. I looked that up. I'm guessing that's what the character is going to be. I guess. I guess so. I'm not entirely positive, but there's a lot of craziness going on. Like the whole Blade situation we talked about in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Star Wars has a new creative. Dave Filoni,
Which is a good thing.
is the new creative guy
Which
under
I'm
it
happy with that. That's a good thing. Because,
instead of Kathleen Kennedy.
Because Dave did the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars was fantastic.
Yeah.
Did Rebels was fantastic.
He did most of the Mandalorian with Jon Favreau.
Yeah, he did the Mandalorian and everything. I mean, he truly knows Star Wars and knows the stories. So hopefully now that he's in it, you don't get a bunch of people that don't really care about Star Wars and is just making it because they can.
I don't understand. Like, I get it because they bought it from George Lucas, but I don't understand why they just don't give it back to him.
Yeah.
Because he's the whole reason why.
I don't know, man. It's weird.
It made me think to look this up of I saw this Reddit post just now. Do you think the MCU is in shambles like a lot of people are saying it is? And it has a bunch of comments on it.
Yes, I do.
Let's read the responses because we're talking about the whole. This is the Marvel in shambles section of the podcast here. They got cocky and thought they could make a hit with anyone, and are now finding how much they were being carried by talented actors and talented writers/directors. And someone said that it was dead on. For me, the films have pushed children and young adults far too much. These young actors simply don't have, yet, the star power and talent to hold these films together. This, to me, is Disney's shoehorning in components that better fit with their other business models, parks, and merchandise. Examples, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with America Chavez, Black Panther Wakanda Forever with Ironheart, and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania with Cassie Lang.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these films could either have done without this character or have survived with a much reduced role. Especially, I've not seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but from what I've seen of the reviews of it, that Ironheart character shouldn't have been in that movie because you just added in there for no reason. America Chavez too. I feel Disney's hand is elevating these elements which just detract from the other characters, and they're very good actors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first half of it has great stuff in it. It just doesn't... in my honest opinion, and I don't know if I said this in the last episode or not, but when they started doing the shows, it started to go downhill.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision was the... You can say WandaVision was the reason why it went down, but I think it was.
I don't know.
When you realized it was feeling weird, and then...
That's the thing, is like the whole... With the whole show thing, and a lot of people have talked about this, is they were pumping out shows like every single year. And the budget was going down. They were losing productivity. The scripts suck.
Yeah.
I mean, it just... is one of those things, and it's like, I will say the best show that came out of that was Moon Knight.
Yeah. Even that, like I said in the last episode to you, even that was still woke.
Yeah, I mean, there was some stuff in that too that was just like, what the heck? But I mean, the show itself was good. The story was good. Everything flowed nicely. It was good. Everything else is just like, what?
I mean, if you think about it, a lot of those shows could have just been movies. Actually, all of them could have been
They just
movies.
could have been movies.
I don't know why they're just trying to milk it out all the way, because all the episodes are like 30 minutes long, and it's like they're like scenes,
Yeah.
not episodes. Like Moon Knight could have actually been a freaking movie, because he, it shows him at the beginning in his normal life, and then he goes to Egypt, and they do all this stuff, and that could have been the end of the movie, literally.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done a movie with that and probably would have gotten a lot of money for that too.
Especially Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like, all those movies probably would have been close to 3
Yeah.
hours, but they would have...
I had a lot of high hopes for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then at the end of it, I hated it.
I remember watching that finale. I think I was camping, and I watched it, and I was just... I was actually watching it with my grandma, and we sat there and we looked at each other, and I'm like, do you not know what they're doing right now?
All it was just like, it was a push.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it was. Is they were trying to push an agenda that they didn't need to.
He's the only male Avenger guy, and that's
in the new one.
It's gonna be in the new one, apparently. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Star Wars is always here and there, as normal. Chief Creative Officer, as Dave Filoni's
What they need to do
thing.
is just do a crossover and all these new Avengers that they got.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, have him be the new Captain America. Have everybody else be their Avengers of the female team, and then just do a crossover and shove like Omni-Man in there and let him kill everybody. Just like,
Omni-Man, destroy everybody.
let him kill everybody.
That's crazy.
Whatever.
I was looking up Star Wars stuff because we talked about how the MCU is in shambles. Let's talk about more franchises that are in shambles, including Star Wars. So apparently they're doing a sequel with Daisy Ridley and Rey.
Yeah, that's gonna be horrible.
It takes place 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, not gonna be good.
She's very excited. The story is really cool, she says. I'm waiting to read a script. Okay, well then, hold up. Does that make any sense to you?
How do you say that it's all good, but if you haven't read the script for it yet?
Because obviously I don't have any other updates. It's not what I expected, but I'm very excited. She expanded upon this to the Hollywood Reporter, saying, I haven't read anything, but I know the story. It's really worth telling, worth exploring, and I think people will be excited. Well, will we figure out who your parents are? That's one thing. You're not a Skywalker.
Will we figure out why you have a baby?
Yeah. Like, your last name is not Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's Palpatine. Get it right.
And why in the pictures are you pregnant?
Making Star Wars people pregnant. They've never done it before that I know of.
Padme.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And Leia.
But, like, well, no, she actually isn't pregnant. I don't know why I was thinking that she actually was pregnant.
Who?
Daisy Ridley, for some reason. I was thinking that. But
no.
Because they aren't actually pregnant in the shows or the movies either. I haven't got to those movies yet.
But Padme was pregnant in the entire third movie.
Yeah, because she was pregnant with Luke and Leia.
Leia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She died in childbirth.
Had sadness.
But, it's okay because Anakin kills children too. Whatever.
I always love having those conversations and seeing videos of people. This might hurt a lot of people's feelings, and I've had conversations with people before, but people are like, Rey's the best Jedi, this, that, and the other. Okay. If you stick prime Anakin Skywalker up against prime Rey...
Yeah.
What is she going to do?
We know who's winning that one.
Like, I mean...
What
is she going to do?
If you put prime Anakin against anyone, I think...
He's going to wreck it. Listen, this man, like... he had the clone army, of course, but... This dude waltzed up into the Jedi Temple and just massacred everybody.
Well, and he has the gall to kill little kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Same thing with like prime Darth Vader.
Yeah.
If you haven't read the Darth Vader comics, that's when you actually see like Darth Vader.
Mhm.
That's like,
Ooh.
nobody can beat this dude.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is like a lot of people are like, "Well, Luke beat him." Luke beat him because Anakin or like Darth Vader let him beat him. Like I like Luke and I like the whole storyline. I mean, it's Star Wars, but
Yeah. Also,
he-
Anakin's like an old man in a way.
yeah,
In that one.
he's older, and also the fact of he stopped and held himself back because he started to realize Luke is his son.
I'm not gonna fight my son.
And he didn't want to fight him
Yeah.
anymore. So Luke overpowered him.
Common sense.
If you took Darth Vader from Rogue One or from the Darth Vader comics against Luke,
Or Obi-Wan.
Luke's gonna die. Like
Yeah. Obi-Wan, he was pretty ruthless in that one, too.
yeah, I mean it's just like
They didn't even let Obi-Wan beat him in
Yeah.
that one.
in the Darth Vader comics. There's this one part where like there's these bunch of rebel soldiers. There's like I can't remember how much it is, and you can probably I'll probably find the picture of it and you can put it up on the
Yeah.
screen or whatnot. But there's like a bunch of rebel soldiers, and they say, Darth Vader, put down your lightsaber, you're surrounded. And Darth Vader says, all I'm surrounded by is dead men, and kills all of them.
Not surprised,
it's
yeah.
just-
I didn't really
Like,
witness the whole power
sorry.
of Darth Vader until... Because I'll preface this by saying Dawson has seen everything. I have only seen some, but the first time that I, like, in person for the first time ever, like, witnessed the power of Darth Vader was watching the Obi-Wan show when he brings down that ship. I was like, holy crap, dude. Do not mess with this dude.
Like that's the thing is like it's so many things, and like I'm so happy they didn't do some woke bull crap of like such a tight knit fight between him and Reva. I'm so glad he literally like toyed with her, like half the fight didn't even pull out his lightsaber. Just
No, he just is like, force push.
force push, stop, whatever.
Get out of my way.
And then whenever he did pull out his lightsaber, he took her lightsaber away from her.
This is mine, though.
Like
This is mine.
it's like what?
I forgot about this. I was going to mention this on the... Oh. Yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah, y'all probably already seen it, because I just looked at it, but
And then
it'll be on the
kills
screen.
all of them.
All of them. Yeah, that's a lot of people. I saw this the other day.
Let me send this to you.
Not speaking of Star Wars, but speaking of movies in general. Apparently, they're coming out with a new Karate Kid movie.
I saw the thing that where they're looking for.
They're looking for the next Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Which, don't know how well that's going to go. But they're doing a... I don't know why we're still doing those.
My question is
global wide search for the next Karate Kid when you could just go to young actors that are already there.
Yeah. My thing is how does that continue with the storyline? Because Daniel Russo is.
He's going to be
playing-
in the new one.
Yeah, he's playing Daniel LaRusso,
Uh-huh.
but how does that storyline work out if Cobra Kai is currently happening?
They might connect it somehow.
Because like, how
I mean, it's movies, and movies and TV. They think it's disconnected.
Speaking
I
of
guess.
Cobra Kai,
And Jackie Chan playing that. I feel like that's kind of racist.
yeah,
But he was that character
Yeah.
in the Jaden. Everybody in the comments is like, Jaden Smith. I'm like, he's a rapper now. He ain't gonna do
Nah.
that.
I still think that the best crossover. I've seen a lot of crossovers and stuff, but I feel like one of the best crossovers, and because one of the reasons because me and Trace like it so much, but don't even let them show their powers. Do one episode where the Cobra Kai kids are in a tournament,
Hmm.
and they're all in the tournament, and they're naming off all the names for the opponents and whatnot, and then they're going off of it, and you get all the Cobra Kais out there, and like the Eagle Fangs and whatnot, and they're all standing there, and they're in their line, they're like, all right, and they're naming off all the names,
Yeah.
and then they say, like, randomly, and they're like, all right, and from Angel Grove, you got Tommy Oliver, and then you see a kid walk out with a green sai,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the thing is, and like he comes walking out, and like whoever would play Tommy, of course, but like because Tommy competed in those competitions in the very first
Well,
Mighty Morphin
Jason
Power.
did too.
So did Jason.
Yeah.
And like,
Well, technically all of them did.
Oh, yeah.
In a way.
but like let him come out, let him kick everybody's butt who he's up against.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let him morph. Don't let him do anything. Just like a little bit of a hint in there that like Power Rangers are in this universe or whatnot. Let him kick everybody's butts, and then let him like start to walk over to his bag, and then like somebody say something to him, and then you see in his bag like his morpher.
Oh yeah.
Like just
a tease,
like
yeah.
a tease, where it's like, oh,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I feel like that would be such a cool crossover. To where it's like, just the fact of like I said, don't show the suits, don't show any of that stuff, don't show the Megazords, don't show like any putty fights, don't show anything. Just show Tommy Oliver from Angel Grove. He's there competing in this competition. He wins some of the fights, and then he has to leave early, and then you see the tease of his morpher, and then he's gone.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
That's it.
That's the end of it.
I feel like that'd be so freaking cool.
It'd be a very simple.
Yeah, I
thing to do.
mean,
Some people would get it, some people wouldn't. Another movie that I was looking at movies that are coming out now around Thanksgiving time because everybody's gonna be going to watch them. Disney's Wish. Now I saw this article. I was looking around while you were talking about the Karate Kid idea. I found that's why I have my computer on my desk right now, helping us, continue the conversation. This article says Disney's Wish fails on every level.
Oh, that's good.
Which, I think by the song that they came out with for it.
Oh, the Bad Guys song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I live rent free in your head and you don't have to pay me. That's the same thing. Who wrote that?
Well, I mean, I like.
They also are doing a live action Moana, and The Rock's supposed to be in
I
it.
saw pictures.
Yeah, and he sang on Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon show, and I was like, do you think any of us care?
Do you think?
Can we just stick with the regular Moana?
Yeah. Can we not do this?
I
mean, it's at the point in time where it's like, stop making live action versions of the movies. Y'all are failing on every level. And I love Disney, but Disney went down the drain too, just like with Marvel.
And they hit 100 years too, and they're went down the drain. I was gonna say that. So right here it says, a problem is evident from the get-go as a storybook introduction tells us about the origin of the kingdom of. We don't care about this movie, so I'm just gonna read what this says because we're probably not gonna watch it anytime soon.
I know.
Which was founded by a young man who believed there was nothing more important than a wish, because a wish drives your heart and makes you who you are. I feel like I've heard that before. After realizing how devastating it is to have your wishes crushed, he founded a island kingdom in the Mediterranean where everyone was welcome and called himself Magnifico, which is Chris Pine. There, at the age of 18, every citizen would give him their wish for safekeeping, whereupon they would proceed to forget what their wish ever was. Then every month he would grant one person's wish. I also kept seeing videos of people saying that the girl in that movie is more of a villain than Chris Pine's character is.
Huh.
Because Chris Pine won't do what they wish for, he'll do it a different way, because if he does it the way they want it to, it'll turn out badly, but she's like, no, you do it the whole way. It's complex. I'm just saying.
Sounds like a whole lot of bullcrap.
But it does. This person does, or this website says this is an odd, unconvincing setup, bearing the inchoate trappings of a classic fable, but with an immediate and profound phoniness. Phoniness, that's a key word.
That's great.
But yeah, great stuff. Everybody was saying that they were gonna come back with this one, and this was the movie for 100 years of Disney, and already seeing it's flopping on its face.
Already see it's failing.
Like let me see, 47% Rotten Tomatoes.
Awesome.
6 out of 10 on IMDb. The audience score, which is probably the score that would matter, I am very shocked the audience score is an 84%.
What?
Really, if you do, what I like to do with this when I go on Rotten Tomatoes is I take the critic score and the audience score and I average it, and then that's the actual score. So this one would probably be like a 60 something, which is more decent. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's there.
It's a score, nonetheless. I mean, Napoleon.
I want to watch that.
Listen. Napoleon. The critic score is a 62%. The audience scores a 65%. It's about the same for that one. I seen
Still want to watch it.
somebody said that I saw some article on here when I was looking up Napoleon. I didn't even spell that right.
Napoleon?
I spelled that
Napoleon.
wrongly. I don't want images of Napoleon. I want.
You're wrong.
Okay, bringing out Donald Trump now.
Wrong.
There was a. What did the article even say?
I don't know. My left eye is twitching.
Somebody, I think it was saying something about how like Napoleon is fascinating, but the movie is not. I think that's what the article said. Like the title of it said. But
Interesting.
that's what was said, I guess. The one thing that I kind of takes away from me with that movie is he's French, and Joaquin Phoenix does not sound French.
No,
he just
at
sounds
all.
like Joaquin Phoenix as a
Yeah.
French general, and it's really weird.
It is very weird.
And I've seen people talk about how weird it is because it just doesn't make a lot of sense at all. But you know, it is what it is. I don't want to look up anyone else. That's not what I. Stop giving me suggestions.
Heck, everybody else.
But yeah, movie news, ladies and gentlemen. That's all. That's all. Oh, another thing before we move on to the next thing, I saw that both Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega dropped out of the next Scream movie because the Melissa Barrera one was because of the whole Palestine thing. Jenna Ortega was because of the second season of Wednesday. But Melissa Barrera was, I guess, a protest thing. I guess. Yeah. Dropped from Scream 8, I think it is, or 7. I don't even know how many. I think 7.
I think it's 10.
Well, with the numbers that they're doing it, I have no idea. After social media posts concerning Israel-Hamas war. That's what that is.
Concerning Hamas.
She wrote in a post, Gaza is currently being treated like a concentration camp. Well, that'll do it.
Cool.
Cornering everyone together with nowhere to go, no electricity, no water. People have learned nothing from our histories. And just like our histories, people are still silently watching it all happen. In all caps, this is genocide and ethnic cleansing. What do you think the Israeli people, how do you think they feel with roles reversed? It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Same thing. But she got dropped because of that. I was going to mention that too. Holy crap. Open casting call for Karate Kid, 10,000 submissions. They're going to have a fun time with that. They're going to have a wonderful time. And if I'm going to laugh if they get, which they probably won't, but if they get a Cobra Kai person.
Right.
Like an actor. Like the main kid in Cobra Kai. That would be funny.
You're the next Karate Kid. Okay.
I already was.
Yeah, I already was.
I already was, though. What do you mean? Yeah, that's all I'm really finding right now.
So freaking weird.
Okay, apparently Christopher Nolan's not directing the next James Bond. Whoever thought he was? I didn't know if he was or not.
I kept hearing that there wasn't going to be another James Bond because it kept getting canceled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of...
That's crazy. Apparently, the director of Mrs. Doubtfire says that he has 972 boxes of footage ready for a documentary on Robin Williams in the film. How do you have 972 boxes if that's a lot?
What?
That's a lot of tapes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. They've done casting for, talked about Superman Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen. And then some other lady I didn't know that was playing another character that I can't remember.
Well, yeah.
So, that I can that I can remember at the moment.
Well, no.
It is what it is. Apparently, action director John Woo says about superhero movies, I like watching real cinema. Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Yeah.
Like the Marvels. The Marvels, where I heard that, what's her face? Rambeau, she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
In that movie, is what I heard.
I could see that.
Everyone loved Miss Marvel, though.
Mm.
The young girl.
Yeah.
Which I can see why, because she kind of can act.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was that bad.
I'll never forget that day we were watching the last episode.
Oh, yeah, that was funny, yeah.
That kid just wham!
Guys, I'm right here. I'm right there.
Got him!
Got him. He's out of here. Aquaman 2.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but that trailer looked very weird to me. And I don't much care for it.
Is what's-her-name still going to be in that one?
I have no idea. Actually, I'm going to look that up right now. I watched the trailer to that.
In the trailer.
On TikTok, I think. It says she is. But the film didn't look that great. Like, not the film, but the trailer just looked like... Not like the Aquaman I remember.
I'm surprised that they actually have her in there.
No, she's in there. And they're making...
crap that's going on.
Shocker, they're making Black Manta the villain again. He was in the trailer, yeah.
I mean, he's the villain in the stories, but...
Well, his brother was more of a villain in the first one than... No, we're going to redeem him.
Yeah, now his brother's actually like...
His buddy.
Yeah.
His half-brother is his buddy.
How does this work again?
I love how it's also coming out on... around Christmas again.
Is it?
Yeah, December 22nd.
Mm.
It's supposed to come out. Yeah, yeah, and the Lost Kingdom, more like in the Lost franchise.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Let's stop.
Let's just quit doing that. Yeah, so all that stuff is going on in the world of movies and such. Have you heard anything about anything at all?
Not a whole lot. That's what I'm doing right now, is looking through some of my save stuff to see if anything kind of rings a bell.
Crazy stuff going on in the world today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just like election day was the other day. Well, we'll actually get the presidential one next year.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes down. It's gonna be a train wreck. We might cover that next year, a little bit, because it's gonna obviously be Joe Biden and somebody else. Who that other person is? A lot of people say Donald Trump. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? You got Ron DeSantis. You got.
I hope he wins.
Ramaswamy, that guy.
Who?
Vivek Ramaswamy, that guy, that Indian guy.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. You've got whoever thinks this dude's gonna become Chris Christie. Why? I don't know why anyone would vote for him, but you got a lot of people, so that can step up. The Rock. Well.
What?
Well, he won't be in it, but people keep at. He went and met. I don't know if it was the president or something. But he talked about. Somebody asked him, was he going to run for president, and he didn't answer. Even though he made a video saying that he was going to.
And the rest of him?
Why?
Why?
Do we need him in everything?
Oh, Lord.
I don't think we need him in everything.
No, we don't. We don't.
Not every anything at all. I did also hear that there was a I don't know if it was terroristic or not, but there was an explosion on some bridge. Some like Rainbow Bridge in America. I don't know what it was. But there was an explosion.
We've got a gay bridge in America?
I don't know if that's what it was, but who knows?
Oh, Lord. I give a crap for trying to keep my mouth shut. Here is going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was an explosion. It was near the Canada-New York border. But there was no terror, apparently.
Canada-New York border?
Yeah. The Canadian one matters as well.
Huh.
Apparently, we also have a Dutch Donald Trump.
What?
Somebody, I guess, won the election in the Netherlands or something, and they think that's what we're coining everyone now. If you act this way, you're Donald Trump.
A Dutch Donald Trump. I hear you.
I love how I'm looking at Fox News right now on their their breaking news section, and it goes from Dutch Donald Trump to gym teacher allegedly sexually assaulted student for years. Why?
There's a bunch of that crap because a lot of. Have you seen? I got notifications of that crap, and I saw one the other day that was that teacher getting fired because she was doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, I've seen that. And then there was another one that
well-
also got fired in the same school doing the same thing. Hey, I wouldn't want to deal with those kids either.
What?
I get it. I wouldn't want to deal with those kids either.
I don't know, man. It's just.
This one I thought was funny. I was reading through headlines. Outrage erupts online as liberals call for Americans to decolonize Thanksgiving. I'm not even
What?
kidding. That's what it says.
Decolonize Thanksgiving.
I'll read it. I'll read it.
The frick do you mean decolonize?
Several online publications and social media users are urging Americans to reconsider the Thanksgiving holiday while alleging the holiday is a symbol of colonization and racism. Let's drop the lie of Thanksgiving and begin at a truthsgiving. Do you realize what you just said? A social media post from The Nation read this week that linked to an article with the headline, "Should America Keep Celebrating Thanksgiving?" In the article, author Sean Sherman argues that Americans should decolonize Thanksgiving. For many Americans, the image of Thanksgiving is one of supposed unity, the gathering of pilgrims and Indians, which there's going to be a segment in a few minutes later on in the episode. Stick around for that, by the way. Dawson's going to...
I'm going to talk.
He's going to prove some of these people wrong. And it might be a reoccurring segment on the show, too. In a harmonious feast, Sherman, a member of the Oglala Lakota Nation, explains, but this version obscures the harsh truth, one steeped in colonialism, violence, and misrepresentation. By exploring the indigenous perspective on Thanksgiving, we can not only discern some of the nuances of decolonization, but gain a deeper understanding of American history. Sherman writes that Americans, in order to avoid the tremendous distress to those of us who are still reeling from the trauma of the Pilgrims landing in America, by promoting the nutritional and culinary diversity of Native American foods, and centering the indigenous perspective and challenging the colonial narratives around the holiday. The Nation's social media post drew strong pushback on social media from users rejecting that Thanksgiving is a symbol of colonization.
Colonization.
It's starting to sound like decolonization just means ruining any and every tradition and fun time to be replaced by the narcissistic, jargon-filled rantings of 20-somethings whose infallible knowledge of the world is informed by TikTok. Sounds about right.
Yep.
And that was written by writer and podcaster Megan Murphy on Twitter, or X. Other outlets have run similar headlines with headlines, "The Dark Truth Behind the Origins of Thanksgiving." They've been running headlines like that forever. Like, come on, guys. I just thought it was fascinating to read. I just saw that, and I was like, what? Now we're doing Thanksgiving? Really, guys? And then we get man guilty of beheading mother of his child with a sword. In broad daylight.
Awesome.
Like, I don't understand.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the world is coming to. That's what we're going to say. This is what the world's coming to. Let's see. And then there's anti-Semitism exposed. Wonderful. Why are we're still talking about the JFK assassination?
Oh, lovely.
60 years later, we know the truth about the real killer, and you took you 60 years to get to that point? Like, come on, guys. Let's say one more thing here. I'm gonna find a good one. Can we not? Here's the thing I'll end on here. Can we not talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce for 1 second, please? Does anyone care? No. Yes, Travis Kelce's a great football player. Taylor Swift, I don't care about her that much. But do you think anyone cares that we talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift being together? No, we don't.
It's a big thing, I guess.
Yeah, apparently going to her Eras tour, watching that as a movie, and if I see another person sitting in a movie theater watching that movie ever again, I'm gonna hurt someone. It's awful.
It's a big thing now. It's a big hit.
Yeah, but now you've reached the section that we talked about at the beginning of the episode that y'all have waited so long, half of the episode to get to this point.
Oh, I mean, it's Thanksgiving for y'all today.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow for us is
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, but y'all watching it, it's probably Thanksgiving. So we figured we'd actually talk about Thanksgiving on the Thanksgiving episode.
Yes, and so we are introducing a new segment that we hope becomes a reoccurring segment because Dawson likes to talk about history. He probably has done it on the channel before, not in the extent that you're going to, but
Try not to get too to it.
yeah.
Into it,
But I came up with this idea for a segment a while back where it is history with Dawson. Or whoever. We'll figure that out in the future. It might be somebody else.
could be my dad.
To be really funny with it, But we're going to go right now to... Dawson's going to give you a little lesson on what Thanksgiving means to everyone in the U.S. Just for every single person out there watching the video right now. So sit back, hold on to your keister, because this is going to be fun.
No. Hello. If you're wondering, we're still here. I mean, Trace is here too.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't go nowhere.
Nope.
We're just talking.
I thought we were going to a segment,
No.
but technically we are. But
we are. We're not talking about Thanksgiving because it's Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah.
Probably do the same thing about Christmas. Who knows?
yeah, we probably will do a thing with
I
Thanksgiving.
mean, it's
Christmas.
just kind of one of those things. I mean, what is Thanksgiving to you? What do you think
We actually did a video 7-8 years ago for
God.
Thanksgiving. I don't know if you remember that. I filmed
Nope.
right in front of the TV with a fireplace, and we played our characters, and we did Happy Thanksgiving, and it was the cringiest thing I think we've ever done. I don't even know why that was a good idea.
I do remember that. I do.
Yeah,
we played multiple characters.
Yeah,
and
and Dawson hid in his closet and filmed all the characters saying Happy Thanksgiving. That is one of the worst ideas I think I've ever come up with. I don't even know why we did that, but it's still on YouTube, so you can go watch it if you want.
Oh,
but
Lord.
Colonizing Thanksgiving, that's a stretch, people are breaking it down into, if you want to, I don't even think you want to call it simple terms, but it's terms nonetheless. It's like Christmas to me. You got the time to be with people that you love, and I think it's as simple as that. I don't think anybody needs to make it into some big old, like that guy was, trying to make it into a whole racism thing. And do we know what happened then? No.
Not really.
Not really, but
Kinda
will we
do.
ever?
Yeah, I mean, kind of do, but kind of don't. Whatever.
Pilgrims, man. You can watch little cartoons like we did when we were kids, learning about the pilgrimage over to the Native Americans.
Which I'll get on. I'll talk about that here in just a
Yeah.
second. It's funny.
But yeah, so I mean, I think it's pretty simple, just being with people that you care about, and I think and feasting down,
I mean, the whole ordeal with that is, I mean, you're all having fun or whatnot, and like the whole thing about colonization is like a lot of people know it's like from from back in 1620 when, of course, the famous story with Mayflower coming over and the colonization of all that bullcrap, and everybody thinks that was the first time that foreigners came over, which it actually wasn't. A lot of people, history is a little bit wrong on this, and they've actually proven it now. But the whole ordeal with the English people coming over and all that settlement and all that bullcrap, they weren't the first people to come around to meet the Native Americans with that. A lot of people say that they were, but they weren't. Actually, it was the Vikings.
Yeah.
They actually came over and saw them and had fun.
And people say Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
And everything.
People say that he was the first one, but whatever. And but no, like with Thanksgiving, it's the whole ordeal is like, when they came through. I mean, there's different stories. I mean, there was talk about a war going on between the two tribes. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of horrible stuff that came about the whole colonization
Which a lot of people like to focus on.
Yeah, well, there was bad things, but there's also good things. And one of those things was they were actually talking about there's a bunch of people were getting together and they thought that there was rumors of war going on, that they were going to fight against it. But around that time when the whole Thanksgiving thing was happening was there was rumors that there was going to be an attack. But actually it was just people hunting to get food for the harvest, like deer and all that other stuff, and getting meat and food. And like, of course, when you first had it back then, of course you had like corn, deer, different types of meats, and your normal Thanksgiving stuff. Well, probably not normal. I don't know what everybody else puts on Thanksgiving, but they probably didn't have that back then. Like they probably didn't have hash brown casserole.
Oh yeah,
so,
and
I mean, like,
dressing and
dressing. I mean,
that you stuff in a turkey's rear end.
So I mean, it's kind of one of those things. But like, they started hunting and they got together and they had this big feast. And they celebrated. They played games and all sorts of stuff. And nowadays we talk about the Great Feast, and now it's become Thanksgiving.
Yeah. There you go.
Ta-da!
There you go. I always remember
me
remembering about Thanksgiving. I remember the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing that I remember about Thanksgiving, and I'm pretty sure that still is somewhere around there. You can go find it. But that's the one Thanksgiving thing that I do remember watching around Christmas time. But a lot of people like to skip over it. They like to join it with Christmas.
Yeah.
Which it's not really. Yeah, with the
Christmas tree.
Christmas tree. Yeah, this is only up because when this goes out, which will be on Thanksgiving tomorrow, it'll be Christmas time.
Come in.
So we've already got the tree out and everything.
I like the picture. I took a screenshot of it, but you say that remind me of it, but there's a picture of those little blow up decorations that people have, and there's one of Santa Claus laying on the ground, and then the other person attached a blow up turkey sitting on top of the Santa Claus holding up a sign that says "Wait your turn, fat boy."
Oh yeah, you showed me that. Yeah, you showed me that.
Thanksgiving still exists.
It's funny because I was driving by somebody's house on the way home today, and from work, and they already had like a whole Christmas.
Oh, there's a
thing.
lot of people
Yeah,
that have their Christmas
decked out.
decorations, and like the house is decked out, and it's like,
Hey, people can't wait.
Thanksgiving is still coming.
People can't wait.
I don't get what the ordeal is.
I'll do this. I thought of this before we started rolling. We're gonna look up some, since we're in the spirit of Thanksgiving. I'm going to look up some myths about Thanksgiving.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and we'll see what interesting things we can discuss. Well, probably mostly you, but because I like history, but Dawson's more focused into it than me. What is the Thanksgiving myth? The myth is that friendly Indians, unidentified by tribe, welcome the Pilgrims of America, teach them how to live in this new place, sit down to dinner with them, and then disappear. They hand off America to white people so they can create a great nation dedicated to liberty, opportunity, and Christianity for the rest of the world to profit. That's the story. It's about native people conceding to colonialism. It's bloodless and in many ways an extension of the ideology of manifest destiny. Apparently that's the myth.
Okay.
What are the most poignant inaccuracies in this story? One is that history doesn't begin for native people until Europeans arrive. That's the first sentence it says here. People had been in the Americas for at least 12,000 years, and according to some native traditions, since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
And having history start with the English is a way of dismissing all of that, which I've never heard anyone beginning that.
Yeah.
The start of life was the harvest. That kind of is weird.
I never really thought about that. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like I've had conversations with people about this too. It's kind of like the same conversation that people have where they're like, "Oh, all the stories in the Bible are the beginning of time and stuff," or
Yeah.
like the whole stories of like
And we might do an episode of
and
that.
stuff like that. And it's like, I'm a full-blooded Christian and I believe in everything, but I've had conversations with people where they truly believe that the era that Jesus was around is when everything kind of started.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Huh?
what are you talking
What
about?
do you mean?
What do you mean? It's like, did you forget everything from the Old Testament? Like,
I think what's funny is that this is the Smithsonian Magazine, and the way that they've already wrote it is like racist.
That's good.
And this is the Smithsonian. The museum.
Gotta have racism and everything.
Well, I mean, they literally just said white people. Like, what did it say? They hand off America to white people so they can create a great nation dedicated to liberty, opportunity, and Christianity for the rest of the world to profit. And then it said native people conceding to colonialism. Does not sound weird to you for Smithsonian? The second is that the arrival of the Mayflower is some kind of first contact episode. It's not. Wampanoags had a century of contact with Europeans. It was bloody and it involved slave raiding by Europeans. At least 2 and maybe more Wampanoags, when the Pilgrims arrived, spoke English, had already been to Europe and back, and knew the very organizers of the Pilgrims' venture. Most poignantly, using a shared dinner as a symbol of colonialism really has it backward. No question about it. Wampanoag leader Usamequin, got that first try, reached out to the English at Plymouth and wanted an alliance with them. But it's not because he was innately friendly. It's because his people have been decimated by an epidemic disease, and Usamequin sees the English as an opportunity to fend off his tribal rebels. That's not the stuff of Thanksgiving pageants. The Thanksgiving myth doesn't address the deterioration of this relationship, culminating in one of the most horrific colonial Indian wars on record, King Philip's War, and also doesn't address Wampanoag survival and adaptation over the centuries, which is why they're still here, despite the odds. So, yeah.
There's another version of it where people say that Thanksgiving was actually a celebration feast for conquering America.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things. Like, that's the thing with
yeah.
historical things. They say a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Whether any of it's true, who knows? You know.
It's just one of those
It's
things.
a thing. Another part of this, it's asked the question, how did the Great Dinner become the focal point of the modern Thanksgiving holiday? For quite a long time, English people had been celebrating Thanksgivings that didn't involve feasting. They involved fasting and prayer and supplication to God. In 1769, a group of Pilgrim descendants who lived in Plymouth felt like their cultural authority was slipping away as New England became less relevant within the colonies in the early republic and wanted to boost tourism, so they started to plant the seeds of this idea that the Pilgrims were the fathers of America.
First of all, that first part.
I knew you wanted to say something, so I stopped.
That's like, what is that?
I will say, anything
like
that
the-
I'm reading is here. I don't know if it's true or not.
What do you mean? The English version of like what you just said about the whole fasting thing and dealing with God and all that crap. I don't remember what you said word for word, but that's like the Jewish
It
thing.
involved fasting and prayer and the supplication to God.
That's like what the Jews do. Dang it, what's the name of it?
I know what you're talking about. Is it Ramadan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramadan.
I mean,
Could be wrong about that, but I think it is.
what? Dude, like,
What? What really made it the story is that a publication mentioning that dinner published by the Reverend Alexander Young included a footnote that said, "This was the first Thanksgiving, the great festival of New England." People picked up on this footnote. The idea became pretty widely accepted, and Abraham Lincoln declared it a holiday during the Civil War to foster unity. It gained purchase in the late 19th century when there was an enormous amount of anxiety and agitation over immigration. The white Protestant stock of the United States was widely unhappy about the influx of European Catholics and Jews and wanted to assert its cultural authority over these newcomers. So you're subtly saying that we're racist. How better to do that than to create this national founding myth around the Pilgrims and the Indians, inviting them to take over the land? ? This myth making was also impacted by the racial politics of the late 19th century. The Indian Wars were coming to a close, and that was an opportune time to have Indians included in a national founding myth. You couldn't have done that when people were reading newspaper accounts on a regular basis of atrocious violence between white Americans, again, and Native people in the West. What's more, during Reconstruction, that Thanksgiving myth allowed New Englanders to create this idea that bloodless colonialism in the region was the origin of the country, having nothing to do with the Indian Wars and slavery. Americans could feel good about their colonial past without having to confront the really dark characteristics of it. Who hired you to write this? Because you sound like you're getting something off your chest here.
Somebody's pissed.
Yeah, but this whole article is from the Smithsonian Magazine, shockingly. I'm not really that surprised, because everything, they just,
Oh, Lord,
make it all sorts of different things. Americans rank Thanksgiving as their second favorite holiday after Christmas. That sounds about right, I would say.
Ranks it the second holiday?
As their second favorite holiday after Christmas.
I would disagree with that.
Well,
I feel like nowadays Thanksgiving gets so looked over. I feel like it'd probably go Christmas.
Was this written? This is written this year, so yeah.
I feel like it would be Christmas, Halloween, maybe Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then everything
Halloween's probably third.
Yeah.
Like if they were to do something like that.
But I would think it would go Christmas and then Halloween and then Thanksgiving. Because Thanksgiving, as soon as Halloween is done, people start getting ready for Christmas. So it's kind of one of those things that Thanksgiving gets so looked over.
That's why I was saying they combine Thanksgiving and Christmas together.
Yeah.
As one whole holiday month. It says from football games to stuffing to the Macy's parade. Thanksgiving is both uniquely American and full of treasured traditions, but this rosy picture of modern celebrations leaves out most of the real history of Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
It's tragic.
Tragic.
How tragic. Did you learn the real history of Thanksgiving? This article says. Chances are, your grade school understanding of the Thanksgiving story involved Pilgrims and Indians sitting down to a happy meal together and becoming fast friends. The lesson likely involved cartoons depicting settlers and Native Americans smiling in celebration, a possible mention of Pocahontas and Thanksgiving crafts. Another thing about Pocahontas, people they always get offended by the movie because Pocahontas was a child and John Smith was a grown man.
Oh, yeah.
And they always get offended by that. I'm like, do you realize it's a cartoon?
Well, I mean, the cartoon, but, like, that actually happened in real life, too. And that's one of those things, too, like, I hate to put it this way, but you got to realize the time. This was, like, 1600s to 1700s. Well, even way before that, but, like, during that time, too, like, even during that time, you still had the whole, being courted thing. Like, you were either given up or you were put into a court to be able to figure out who you were marrying or who you were going to be with. It was very common for people that, like, 13 to 14 to get married.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I hate to put it this way because it is a little kind of gross, but, like, with females, like, as soon as they had their first period, it was whenever their courting started to begin.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as you were able to have your first period to where you were eligible to maybe give birth to a child, that's when it started. I mean, it was just the time. Was it wrong? Absolutely.
And some girls started at 10.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, It's kind of one of those things. Like, was it wrong? Absolutely. Like, that's. Ugh.
It says they celebrated Thanksgiving in 1620, the first one.
So I was right.
Yeah, 1620.
So, yeah. I couldn't remember if it was 1620 or 1610. But so I mean, people freak out about that kind of stuff, but like, here's the thing: is a lot of this kind of stuff nowadays, people freak out about the kind of crap, and it's like, okay, what do you want me to do? To make a time machine? You can't change the history.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't do it now. Like, it's the same thing with the whole slavery crap and all that other stuff.
Well, you just try to find something to get mad about.
And that's all that they do is they find stuff and then they blame it on everybody else, and it's like
History.
well, and that's another thing is a lot of people, they'll read one thing and they'll explode on it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get pissed off and this, that, and the other, and it's just like, if you read more history and you read more books, you'll find out.
You'll become smarter.
You'll see a lot more stuff that opens up a broader eye than this little small condensed hole that you're reading.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Apparently, FDR is the reason why Thanksgiving's at the end of November. In December 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt changed Thanksgiving to the fourth Thursday in November to avoid confusion in years where this is a fifth Thursday in November. He also reasoned that this change slightly lengthened the holiday season, which was good for the economy. Considering Black Friday is nearly a holiday in and of itself, it's safe to say he was right. And yes, I also forgot about Black Friday. Who cares about that? But yeah.
Black Friday.
Yeah, fun stuff. People
Lord
punching
mercy.
each other for TVs.
They don't really do that a whole lot anymore since they had the Cyber Friday thing.
And then you've got COVID where
Yeah.
they ruined Black Friday in general
'Cause
because
now-
they fought for toilet paper.
Yeah, and that was the whole ordeal. Is Black Friday was specifically for the stores, for people to go into stores and get stuff for good accounts, and then now they got Cyber Monday and Cyber Black Friday, where you can get everything online for discounts and you don't even have to go out. So Black Friday is really not a big deal because I remember.
I never
a year
understood why they
ago,
called
or-
it Black Friday.
Who knows? They're racist.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
But like, I think it was 2 years ago. Me and Caitlin went. We just up and decided let's go to Black Friday, and when we went, there was like, there wasn't a whole lot of people in Walmart.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't me and Caitlin. It was me and JJ, my sister. We went, and we both were like,
Where's everybody at?
nobody here.
Yeah, where did everybody go? I remember when I was little, that was like a huge thing. Like, my mom and them would be like, yeah, we're all going to go Black Friday shopping. I never went because I was like, do I want to get tackled? No.
No. I know a long time
thanks.
ago, I went with one of my exes that I was with when we were in high school.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking
And that was during the time that it was actually like psycho.
Yeah,
And
bad,
it was still bad. And we went in, I was like, oh my lord.
about. What is going
Way
on?
too many people.
I got to get out of here.
I need to leave.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad, I would say. This article, I think it's really funny. It says at the end, how can you help?
You can't.
Like, it says, once you understand the complicated real history of Thanksgiving, there are things you can do to celebrate the holiday in a meaningful way while respecting and honoring Native Americans. Foxworth says, you can also make new traditions with your loved ones. Well, it's just they celebrate it different than we do.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, why? That just sounds funny. How can you help? Is this like a charity?
How can you? It reminds me of that video where it was a long time ago, that whole crap of them girls being missing, and like, Michelle Obama was like, if you see something, say something, and it's like, you are the way that you can stop this and stuff like this. It's like, you're married to the president. Send in like
Figure
Task
something out,
Force
yeah.
31 and like go and find these kids.
Figure it out.
What am I gonna do? I live in Georgia.
It's okay. She
like-
changed the vending machines to be healthier.
Yeah, like it's like you are how we solve this. You're married to the president of the United States.
Figure it out yourself.
You eat dinner with him. At the dinner table, be like, so what's the plan of finding these women?
Oh.
And let the president hit whatever and make a phone call and be like, we need to send a task force to like find them and do something, and ta-da,
There we go. And then something happens.
you go into the military to stop forces, foreign and domestic.
And domestic, yeah. And domestic.
So here, do something about it.
It also says to avoid stereotypes in decorations and crafts. So that's what the whole... Don't offend the Native Americans.
I think that's funny though too. Is like they say that and like
Nothing against Native Americans.
They did the whole thing with the Red Sox, where they the Red Sox and the Chiefs.
And the Redskins.
And the Redskins.
That was the biggest one.
Where they changed all this stuff, and then later on the Native Americans are like, "What are you doing? Turn it back." And it's like,
yeah.
And because they thought like. They thought it was bad on them, but then the Native Americans actually was like, no, we want it back because one, it's always been that way, and two, it was kind of like a respect thing too because it was a team based off of them. So I mean, like, and they were asking for it back. What it boils down to is you got a bunch of liberal retards that are like sitting there and they're like, oh, this is good. Oh yeah, this is gonna piss off a bunch of people. Oh yeah, let's do it. Send it. And then everybody's like
on board. Well, that makes me think of like another thing where like somebody says something and it changes something. I know this has nothing to do with like Thanksgiving or anything, but back in 2020, I think it was. So if you don't know already, I'm a big wrestling fan. There was a big thing that happened where one of the female wrestlers said, well, why do we got to have women in the title of the championship, like the women's championship? And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, because it distinguishes what, you know, a man has the world title and you have the women's title.
Yeah.
They took women out of the NXT, like NXT did a show that weekend. NXT took, which is a WWE show, by the way, they took women's out of the name of the title. So, when they had the women's championship match on their pay-per-view, it just said NXT Championship, and it didn't make any sense. And I remember watching it live, and I was like, well, what do you call it now? Because now they're both called the NXT Championship. And, yeah, that's a problem. Because they're not the same belt. And you know what's even more funny is on the belt, it says women's. So, I don't know. That was like a while back, but that's another thing.
So, speaking of that, because I remember, it's so freaking stupid. I love how I see this and like it already first it just pops up and it's like what?
What?
It's so stupid. So the whole thing about the women's thing is like it goes back to the whole yeah. So there's one. And yeah. And so like with that is it also goes to the whole like pay gap thing, which I think is so stupid. Is like they want the whole equal rights thing and like that's fine and they want the equal pay thing. First of all, the equal pay thing doesn't matter because like if you actually look at it, it's so the whole equal pay thing. It goes back to you gotta look at the actual numbers, and I've actually got it right here, so I get it right. But so women's sports on or women's soccer league. I just looked up soccer because I like soccer, but
and they talk about that more.
Yeah, is a payout of 3.3 million.
Okay.
Of people watching and paying
in.
It's
a lot of people. That's still a lot of people.
The women players get 25% of that payout.
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent
lot.
amount.
It's a quarter of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good amount. And here's the problem. And actually, if you look at the percentage-wise, the women actually get paid more on the actual pay scale of what it is. Because you got to think of the money. You can't do an equal pay gap with that because it's impossible. So like I said, 3.3 million for the women's sports. For the male sport, for the soccer team, for the World Cup and everything, 570 million.
Yeah, because it's such a bigger thing.
And it's a bigger thing. It brings in more revenue, and they only get paid 12%.
Yeah, of all that.
So yeah, overall the men are getting paid. On paper, when you look at it, it looks more.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, the women are getting paid on an actual bigger percentage of what they bring in on revenue.
Yeah.
So
if more people watch, that wouldn't be the case.
yeah, and that's the thing is, if more people watch, and that's the problem, is they want to equal it. It's like, well, I mean, get people to watch it. I mean,
it's like the NBA and the WNBA. The WNBA, nobody really watches it.
No,
I mean, not nobody, but
and it's not a sexist thing. It's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's how it's been. Like people watch sports that they like.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with football. You don't got a women's football. I mean, you do now. There's a couple of teams out there.
Yeah.
But like actual football, you've got your regular teams that everybody watches.
Yeah. Females
and males all watch football.
I would say college basketball for women is bigger than WNBA because it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then you got the NBA that everybody watches. I mean,
college basketball is on the level of the NBA, and like the March Madness stuff, that stuff and people get mad because they don't pay the players, and I'm like, it's college.
Yeah, I mean.
When you get to the NBA, you'll get to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. It's stupid.
It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that are done.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and it's like how you said the whole women's thing is it goes to the whole, what's that chick's the swimmer girl with the whole transgender guy. Problems. I can't remember her name.
I know who you're talking about.
But it's like with that, you've got to have. Are you about to look it up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You've got to have that balance between the two. I mean, like you've got women's and then you got males.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Riley Gaines,
yeah. But like if you have all of them, and like if whoever's watching this, if you haven't watched any of the court cases and all the stuff with Riley Gaines, I encourage you to watch it.
Great stuff.
Because it's great, and she's awesome. And she makes a lot of good points in there that I think a lot of people need to actually
start listening to. A lot of sexual harassment going on.
A lot of that people need to actually listen to and wake up, because this whole transgender woke community crap, I don't care what people say about me about this. I'm bringing it in. It's got to stop. Like, this is getting ridiculous.
Wait, there's something like canceled. No.
Like, it's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's getting way out of hand. It's like the whole Riley Gaines. And like I said, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Check her out on TikTok.
Go check her out on TikTok too. But like, there's a lot of stuff that like she says, and it's true. It's the fact. I mean, like, that's stupid. Oh, I'm sorry. And like, this goes on a male part. Is the fact of like, oh, so you can't beat other males. So you're so pathetic that you got to transgender yourself. Transition. Yeah. To go compete in women so you can beat women.
Yeah, because
that is pathetic.
I'm gonna look up that stat.
And that is so stupid, and that takes away. Because that's the thing. Is like, what about all the medals and trophies and money that women bring in and women can get? But they can't get that because you got idiots that come in there that are pathetic and do all this crap and take that away from them.
The whole Leah Thomas situation.
Yeah, it's like the whole ordeal with the whole Woman of the Year. The whole freaking
Dylan Mulvaney got that. Yeah,
and like some of the different pageant stuff. Like, that is stupid. On like so many levels, that is stupid. That is why we have a category for men, and that's why we have a category for women, so it's equal on both sides, and everybody can live out and be equal part of it and have their own representation.
Yeah.
But if you start taking that away, I mean, like, that's so stupid. It's like the same thing as like that one woman said, they should have the equal fights in UFC.
Equal fights, equal rights.
Like, are you serious? That is the stupidest
Some women
thing.
are tough.
I mean, yeah, I will get that. I will agree with that.
Ronda
like,
Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. They are tough.
Mm-hmm.
But do you really think that that's a good idea to put him up with what's his name? Mayfield, the boxer.
You mean Mayweather?
Mayweather, yeah. No, like that's
No.
like what's the stats of his punch? It's ridiculous.
I was gonna say, because you're talking about the Riley Gaines stuff. This stat right here. When I first saw this, I thought this is pretty, like, astounding to me, and you probably will think so too. So, if this doesn't tell you anything, because you were saying like they transition into the other gender so they can succeed in the same sport but a different gender.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So, when Leah Thomas was a man, she ranked 554th in the 200 freestyle, 65th in the 500, and 32nd in the 1650. But when she became a woman, she ranked 5th in the 200, 1st in the 500, and 8th in the 1650. I wanted to look that up because I saw that somewhere and I thought that was crazy. So, and I also knew that old story where Riley Gaines has talked about how they tied and they wouldn't let her stand with the trophy. They gave it to Leah because for the cameras. That's what she said too. So, also I was looking at this Thanksgiving thing. When we were talking about Thanksgiving, they said it is sometimes called American Thanksgiving. Have you ever heard that before? Because I have never heard that before.
Dude, this is ridiculous. No, I haven't.
American Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving. So, yeah, here's something. I don't know how exactly true this is because I'm not there and I don't know the stats of everything.
Yeah.
Mayweather's punch, like force.
Yeah.
Like, once again, this is how stupid this is. His force carries out a strike of 526 pounds.
Yeah, makes sense. I would say Mike Tyson's better than him though. But
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, like right now,
Mike Tyson would screw people up.
Yeah, but like right now, he's the top.
Yeah.
For-
Well, Logan Paul could even beat him.
Yeah, it's like that is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the dumbest decision that you can ever think of, and they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I don't know. There's a lot of craziness in the world. Equal rights, equal fights. You know, a lot of stuff has happened in the world today. We talked about the history of Thanksgiving or whatever we learned from it.
Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, apparently we learned most of the articles that I read brought up the racist factor of it, from what I understood it, I think.
Probably.
I mean, from what I read, it's what it sounded like. But Thanksgiving, as you're watching this, is today. Go have a great time. Well, we're going to try to have a great time ourselves, as normal Thanksgiving. Didn't even know it was sometimes called American Thanksgiving, which I think is funny.
American Thanksgiving.
It's just putting a label on it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I thought Thanksgiving was an American culture thing anyways.
I don't know.
So,
That's what people are saying.
Germans don't have Thanksgiving. I mean, like...
I fight Thanksgiving!
I mean...
You know? But, no, like, the...
Australians don't have Thanksgiving.
People, yeah. It's a different... I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Thanksgiving, they were trying to think that it's being colonized. That's probably why they put American Thanksgiving in front of it. But that was the history of Thanksgiving. We talked about a lot of different things. This is what the show's going to be now. This kind of stuff. Talking about all sorts of things happening in the current world. Our opinions on certain things. And if you don't like it, well, you can leave a dislike on the video. It's happened before. But if you like it, though, leave a like down below. And let us know in the comments down below what kind of topics you want us to talk about in the next episode, or what kind of segments you want us to bring back, such as gaming, costumes, characters, whatever. Reacting to a film and talking about it, we'll do it. But
Or if you just want us to keep talking about political crap.
yeah, because that can be a whole nother hour, if not more than that. And especially if you bring other people into it, then it just becomes an even longer conversation. But that reminds me, if you, we might bring some more people. We might bring Caitlin back on the show again. We have a couple of ideas we want to do with her on the show, including a roundtable Q&A, the Newlywed Game with y'all too, hint hint, and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about bringing my mom on, Dawson's dad on, all that stuff. We might bring some more people on here, and we're really trying to. I mean, to begin with, we've been trying to lean it towards the podcast realm, but now we are really leaning towards it now. I think more than we have.
We're still doing our films every once in a while when we can, and that's what the key word is, can.
Yeah.
Like, we're still working on the movie, but like what we said in the last episode, we've kind of have to put a pause on the movie because we filmed a lot of the scenes in the movie during like summertime, so we can't really film that now because all the leaves have changed, the leaves are falling. I mean, that would look dumb.
We haven't touched it in 2 months.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that we can't really film anything of it right now until it gets time around the same time that we filmed it last year to where it still looks the same. So we're just hitting pause on that right now, and then I know we got a bunch of other ideas like we had.
But there will be more films.
Yeah, we're still gonna do films. It's just this is kind of easier for me and Trace to do for every Thursday. Like whenever I get off work and whenever he gets off work, just do it and do a little podcast and put it on the channel and say whatever. But I mean, we're still doing films. Look out for it. I know we've had ideas for different films that we want to do.
Yep.
Right now, one of the ideas that me and Trace have talked about is the whole
Riverflow?
Yeah, Riverflow film.
I read your mind on that.
Yeah, I was sitting here like, oh god.
Which is actually based on true events.
Yeah, which is based on true events, and then a little bit of other stuff that we're adding into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've talked about that. That one actually might come out here soon. I don't know. We don't know. It's just one of those things if we can get the people to do it.
Yeah.
We've talked about our custom Spider-Man character film, the Arachnid.
We might do an episode on that in the future.
I got the suit today.
Yeah. So we might do that in the future for an episode.
So I just got to fix it up and do all the stuff to it. Because I'm going to get 2 suits. I'm going to do the one that's the nice pristine one. I'm going to get another one and like make it battle damage for flashback scenes and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, there's a bunch of ideas that we've talked about. I mean, Daenerys.
Yeah.
Which we might do a whole episode just on talking about the backstory of Daenerys and talking about all the characters and everything on that, because that is actually a really cool story.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of characters that we've come up with in the last several years that we can do episodes on, like Spade and and Sir Gavin even.
Yeah.
We can
get Lachelle on here.
And your TikTok, talk about your TikToks and the book and everything.
I need to contact her and see if she'll do like a chat meeting thing on the podcast and see if she can do it.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out all that.
Yeah.
But
could you do a thing on there?
I should be. I could record it on here. I'd have to record it.
Like a what's it called?
Like a Zoom thing?
Zoom.
Yeah, I'd have to like screen record it and everything.
So.
But yeah, we've got a lot of different characters that even old ones that we've talked about. We might do like Magna Man.
Yeah.
Do a whole thing about Magna Man.
Still would like to do
and the history of Magna Man, the character, because we've never really talked about that on camera.
No, but we've got a big ordeal with that.
Yeah,
so.
We might even show the entire film that he was in, which was
bring the little
dumpster fire.
That I made. That's for the film.
Yeah,
it's just we gotta do it. So.
There's a lot of different creative things that we've come up with over the last almost 9 years, because next year will be 9 years, and that we can do episodes on. If y'all want us to do those, let us know in the comments down below. If you like this video, leave a like down below. Like I said, comment anything. Let us know about the episodes we're doing.
Yep.
What you think about them, and tell us how beautiful our Christmas tree is. I actually put this up the other day. So, but yeah, Christmas tree, Christmas time. Happy Thanksgiving to all y'all
Yes, happy
again.
Thanksgiving.
Because I am gonna be trying to get this out on Thanksgiving, so hopefully that'll work. But the most important thing you could do, because we are inching ever so closely to 600 subscribers, is to subscribe to the Weather News Times Or Not channel.
Do it.
Click the notification bell so you'll be notified for any more episodes of the Weather News Times Or Not show, films, behind the scenes, unseen footage stuff if they randomly come out, anything. You'll know when it comes out My name is Trey Sparks.
My name is Dawson Mullins.
And see you guys in the next episode of the Weather News Times Or Not show. Bye-bye.